Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum. Welcome to World This Morning, which is a Hashmi, ladies and gentlemen. We are, like every other day, opening our windows to more than 40 countries and sharing our mornings with all our Muslim and non-Muslim brethren, ladies and gentlemen. Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. I know we've already entered into this beautiful month and we are loving, we love sharing our mornings with you, especially in Ramadan, because we've had our sehri a few hours ago. And for me, I feel like people have different routines, but for me, it's very hard to sleep after iftar, especially when you know you have to come work early in the morning. But one more thing that I feel like I have developed over just these few days, and I really want to build up on that, in the coming days as well. You sort of let go of your big ego when, especially in Ramzan time. I feel like that's because the Satan, Shaitan is chained, right? So that is not going to compel you to do something wrong. So of all the people that you have wronged, of all the people that you need to forgive, your friends or your family, of the ones you need to catch up with, do it right now, because I personally feel like my ego is so small. I don't even mind talking to the people that I left behind in my life. This month is all about mercy and forgiveness, so be the most important part of it. Try to forgive others and also seek for your own forgiveness, because your Creator is the biggest of forgivers, and He's going to literally forgive any magnitude or the amount of sins that you've committed if you repent from the deepest of your heart. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sort of building up on a pattern for this Ramzan. You might have watched in the previous days as well. For the first segment, we will be enlightening you and ourselves about our responsibilities, our practices that we should be doing in the month of Ramadan. And that is what we are doing today again. We have picked up a very important topic that is close to our hearts that we need to learn and incorporate in our daily lives as an individual and as a nation as well. And for this purpose, we've been joined by someone who happens to be an Islamic scholar. He's none other than Professor Dr. AbdulBasit Mujahid. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Ramadan greetings to you and our audience as well.
Well, same to you. Ramazan Mubarak.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Saab, today we're talking about Amr bil Maruf Nahi Anil Munkar. This is, I feel like everyone who knows the religion knows out there. But don't worry, if you don't know about it, that is why we are here. We're here to educate you. So let's start with the meaning of this, because a lot of people out there don't really know Arabic, and thus the theme of it.
Yes, this is very important to learn more and more in this blissful month of Ramadan. And I congratulate PTV World for inviting me on this very important topic to discuss.
It's our pleasure, sir.
In fact, Amr bil Maruf means to encourage people to do good things, and Nahi Anil Munkar to preach people to forbid themselves from wrongdoings. Okay. This is exactly what is the literal meaning. But as this is injunction of Quran Majid, so we have to see what Quran is saying, in what context Quran is saying. So in Surah Al Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this beautiful verse, the number of this verse is 104 in Surah Al Imran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this that there must be some people amongst you who invite people to the good things and encourage them and joining them in doing good things as well, and forbidding them for doing wrong thing. And these are the people who are ultimately successful.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So this is Quranic injunction. So this is responsibility of all of us as an individual, as society, that we must at least invite people to good things.
To good things. Dr. Saab, since we are talking about today's time, in this context, what counts as good things or good deeds that we should invite people towards?
In fact, see, Allah Almighty has tuned us from our inner self. We all know what is good and what is bad. And the thing is, those who are younger ones, we have to guide them. We have to inculcate the values, our own values, the Islamic values and our Eastern values to them. And for doing that is the most important thing, is not just saying, to practice in front of them.
Live by example.
Yes, of course. This is very blissful month, and you know that as you in intro said already, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showering His blessings upon all of us, and our heart is also softened because of the blessings of this month. So Doing good things are more easy in this
Yeah.
month, and this is a refresher course as well.
Right.
This is not confined to this month, but we have to do all these things in all the year.
Right,
year
so that
around.
is what my next question is. Dr. Saf, when we're looking at Ramzan, I feel like, I mean, of course, like you very rightly said, our hearts are softer than they are before. So we love to do good deeds and, you know, even ask people to do them with us. But when we're talking about the other months of the year, we're either working, we're busy in our daily life schedules, you know, we're not probably as much even praying as much we are in this month. So how can we make sure that this specific characteristic stays with us throughout the year?
In fact, we have very rigorous routine
Yes.
in this month. So when we are going through a rigorous routine, for doing regular things are more easy naturally.
Yeah.
You see, in Ramadan Mubarak, people used to offer just not only Isha prayer, but after that they listen Quran in Taraweeh.
Yes.
So 17 rakat of Isha and then 20 more for Taraweeh, and people are willing to do that. So when this Ramadan is ending, so just offering 17 rakat is more easy. But we have to concentrate that. And as you said, Prophet, peace be upon him, said that Satan is chained.
Yes.
So when Satan is open, we are more vulnerable. So we have to
Exactly.
more concentrating on our own self accountability must be
Right.
all the time. We must peep through our own selves, through our deeds. And what you asked in a previous question, in fact, nowadays, this is 21st century and cutting edge technology is there. So social media is an opportunity as well as challenge.
You know, it's great that you started talking about it, because we should definitely discuss this part of our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't live in the era anymore where we would stick to traditional media. Like, there are only a few households that I personally know of my friends who have proper television sets at their houses, because everyone has their tabs and laptops and mobile phones, right? So, Dr. Saf, we are intentionally or unintentionally exposed to all kinds of information and data that has been happening in the country of the things that people do and post. So in such a scenario where you're seeing wrong things happening, how should you take side of the right thing and, you know, actually forbid people from doing wrong?
In fact, we must be knowing, recalling and recollecting the thoughts given by Allah in this very injunction of Quran, in this very ayah I already
Yes, you already recited.
In that, one thing is that invite people to good.
Okay. Okay.
So when we are using social media, any sort of social media, we must concentrate that we must not engage in anything which is, number one, bad.
Yeah.
Number two, wastage of time.
Right.
And then there is a very clear principle in Islam that if you haven't confident that the thing is authentic, you must not circulate that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There is a lot of material in
is not
social
even
media
authentic.
which has nothing to do with Islam, and people just write that this is hadith or this is Quran and something like that. So this is also challenge. And one
Right.
thing more, sometimes people are circulating the things which are in fact bad, and they are promoting that and then saying, don't do this. So why you're promoting that?
Don't promote it in the first place. You're
I
absolutely
will just
right.
give you that very painful thing of caricature issue.
Okay, yeah.
So in that caricature, why people are circulating that?
Why are you even sharing it
Yes,
again
yes,
and again?
of course.
Absolutely.
And second thing is that we must concentrate on our own societal norms. Whatever is our norms, we must follow that. And one thing more, for parents, for teachers, I must suggest that they must see what their kids are doing.
Yes.
Because as you said, every kid has his own or her
Right.
own tablet or
Yeah.
mobile and this and that, and access to this internet and
Yes.
everything. So concentrated guidance is required, how to use and how not to use that thing. And one thing
Right.
more, we must schedule our kids and our own selves as well, how much time we have to allocate for social media.
Right,
Because you see,
absolutely.
these blissful nights, we have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his blessings.
Yes.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that he is giving more and more. So instead of asking something good from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we involve ourselves into social media, and particularly those things which are forbidden in Islam, and particularly in this very blissful month. So this is what Amr bil Maruf is just not
right.
refraining himself from bad things, but to say others as well,
Right.
those who are in our influence. Prophet, peace be upon him, said very rightly that kullukum ra'i wa kullukum mas'ul anir rayatihi. So everybody is responsible for someone.
Exactly.
If not someone, at least his own self.
Right.
We have sphere of influence. Everybody has sphere of influence. His
Definitely,
own
definitely.
family, friends, kids, or other those who are working with us.
Right.
Very politely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also saying this, like, Udu ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah. Invite people with wisdom.
Right.
In
right.
a very polite way.
In a responsible way
Yes,
as well.
yes, of course.
And that is so true. You know, for everyone out there who does use their gadgets for any sort of, information sharing, when you live in a society, especially when we're talking about Pakistan, we are a collectivistic culture, right? We are not individuals. We are not just responsible for ourselves, but for the people around us too. So before you share anything on your social media, be it religious or not, please make sure you check that if it's authentic, if it is coming from a real source or not, if it is actually approved of, whatever people that you're talking about. Because again, you need to be a responsible citizen before you expect other people to be responsible to you as well. And Dr. Saab, you know what the most beautiful thing about this month I've recently witnessed is in the university that I live in, there happens to be a huge, beautiful mosque. And often in other parts of the year, of course, men or boys would go there. But now since it's Ramadan, for the night's even, the mosque is open to all the girls, and the amount of people rushing to the mosques, it's so beautiful because I feel like it is a natural call to all the Muslims out there, right?
Yeah, of course. And this is very good thing now in our society, that people are now opening doors of the masajid for women folk as well.
Beautiful. It's
in fact, see, these all worship and rituals, these are for everyone.
Exactly.
So I suggest through this program to those who are building new masajid, and in Ramadan Mubarak people are spending on masajid and renovation of masajid. So I suggest everyone that there must be allocated place for women as well.
Absolutely.
Because they must listen how beautifully people are reciting Quran in Taraweeh and this Fard Namaz. This is very duty of every Muslim. At the same time, Jummah sermons and other activities and festivities. In fact, we are not getting what exactly is masjid in Islam. This is a festivity place for Muslim. This is a training place for Muslim.
Absolutely.
In Prophet peace be upon time, this was also foreign office. He used to receive foreign dignitaries in masjid.
Oh, okay.
So all activities, this was a center for activities.
Right.
And we all know this thing, that in Islam there is no separation of religious life and worldly life. We have to be 24-hour Muslim. There is no restraint from our Muslimhood for some part of our life. As professionally we are doing what, this is very much concern of Islam, and we must be concerned about that. If in masjid we are somewhat else, and when we are doing our professional life, if we are somewhat else, this is called munafiqat. And the Quran is saying in Surah At-Tawbah that those who are not doing Amr bil Maruf wa Nahi anil Munkar, instead of that, they are doing vice versa. They are inviting people to wrong things, and they are not inviting people to good things. They are munafiq. So we all have to analyze our own selves, particularly in this blissful month, that what we have done in this 24 hours we already spent.
Okay. How can we start with that? I mean, if I had to start realizing about myself, if I'm actually inviting people towards good deeds and stopping them from, wrong things, how should I start analyzing myself?
First of all, we must know what is wrong and what is right.
The conscience should be right.
Yes,
in
of
place.
course. So see, this month is related to Quran. So we all recite Quran. If we are not having time, in fact, we are not managing our time. So we must also recite Quran with translation.
Definitely.
And authentic translation. There is another alert that on websites, there are some not good translations of Quran.
I wouldn't trust those. I mean, it's such an important and such a huge thing, especially aspect of our religion. If I were to look for translation, especially for such a holy book, I mean, Quran that has been bestowed upon us, I would never go to XYZ website and ask for translation. I'd rather go to a religious scholar who knows best. Or there are often, you know, you do find books, Qurans with English or Urdu translation, which can actually help you a lot, right?
I here suggest people that there is application available nowadays,
Okay.
and that is Islam 360.
Oh, wow.
So this is authentic, and there are a lot of authentic translations of Quran, recitations of Quran is available there, and those who wanted to memorize Quran or few verses of Quran, for them there is in this app there is an opportunity. You just click and you can listen an ayah of Quran for 100 times.
Oh, wow. And then you can share it with your family
Yes,
as well.
yes, of
Oh,
course.
hey, that's
And,
beautiful.
offline, you can use even this. So
Wow.
we must be careful. Whatever is on net, everything is not authentic.
It's not true. Yeah,
So
you're
this is
right.
very good what you suggested through this program, that we must ask those who know the
Who
things.
know,
Because
exactly.
this is also order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not our choice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people who has this wisdom. And if you are not knowing anything, this is good thing to ask someone who
Definitely.
is relevant.
There's no
And you
shame
know,
in asking.
in this 21st century, this is era of specialization. Very minute, narrow research is going on. So those who have devoted their life for Quranic sciences, they are the best people to
Right.
ask for and guidance and
Absolutely.
anything we wanted to know. And the thing, this month we must join any circle where learned people they're having Quran recitation,
Right.
translations of Quran. And one thing more, what I think that Amr bil Maruf
Yeah.
in that context is that we must our own selves check our own self, that whether we know how to recite Quran properly.
Right.
This is the
So
first
important.
step. And for that, we must be knowing that there is a proper phonology and phonetics of Quran, and that is called tajweed. So we must
Right.
learn, at least start learning
Absolutely.
in this blissful month. So afterwards, we would be getting what is wrong and right through the translation of Quran
Once you have
and
studied it.
Seerah writings
Right.
as well.
Thank you so much. This was absolutely beautiful, and that is why we have you here, because you have learned it and we want you to impart your knowledge to us. This was Professor Dr. AbdulBasit Mujahid, ladies and gentlemen, and we were talking about Amr bil Maruf wa Nahi anil Munkar. I really hope you took something away from this. Right now, we're headed to a very short break. When we come back, we will talk about something very important that we are observing internationally today. Stay tuned to find out. Good morning.
The ancient city of Taxila is the heart of stonework in Pakistan. This art, which has been preserved and practiced for centuries, can be seen on many major landmarks of the country. Notably, the Pietra Dura work in the Lahore Fort's Sheesh Mahal. These stone products take days to complete and require immense precision and skill from the craftsmen. The final products are perfect for souvenirs, gifts and decoration pieces, each depicting the richness of Pakistani culture at its best. Camel skin and ivory craft are trademarks of Multan's handicraft repertoire. Camel skin is cleaned, dried and mounted onto molds which can be of any shape desired. Multicolored lacquer painting is then used to ornament the molds, which in the end bear a Mughal or Persian feel. Ivory is crafted into pens, chess sets, jewelry and other accessories such as keychains by the expert craftsmen. Such detailed work, while being extravagant, is indeed a feat to achieve, and craftsmen of Multan produce beauty with their work which is worthy of global admiration. The enchanting arts and crafts of Pakistan.
Book is life. Book is hope.
Welcome back to World This Morning with Shaza Hashmi, ladies and gentlemen, on a beautiful, pleasant day. Again, Ramzan Mubarak, I'll keep saying it to all of you out there. And before we went out on a very short break, I mentioned that today we are observing a very important day all across the world, not only in Pakistan. And ladies and gentlemen, today happens to be World Thalassemia Day. Now, for all of you who don't know, thalassemia happens to be a disorder or a disease of blood. It is a genetic disorder that occurs, let's say, in males and females both, equally or not. That is what we're going to ask, along with so many other things with our very apt panel over here. But before we move on, I'll tell you the theme for today, ladies and gentlemen. It happens to be universal access to quality thalassemia healthcare services, building bridges with and for the patients. I feel like these are the things that we need to talk about, so important. And for this very purpose, we've been joined by some amazing guests, as I've already mentioned. This one has been on the show before as well. She is none other than Dr. Tahira Zafar, who happens to be a thalassemia expert. Hello, assalamu alaikum, and a hematologist too. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Walaikum assalam. Nice to see you, Shiza, again.
I know, same here, always nice to see you. Next to Dr. Tahira, we have someone who happens to be a retired Major General. He's none other than Dr. Sohaib Ahmed, who happens to be the President, Thalassemia Welfare Society. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the show.
And walaikum assalam.
And next to Dr. Saab, ladies and gentlemen, she is a very special guest. I mean, she's very courageous and brave, especially to be here and share her journey, her life with us, especially on this auspicious day. She's none other than Saira Yahya. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
She is a person living with thalassemia every day. You're so brave. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
We will definitely, come to you. But to start with, Dr. Saab, I feel like we should start with you. What are the current prevalent conditions of thalassemia in our country? And, well, let's start with that first.
Well, if you want to remember thalassemia, it's easier to remember that if you remember the figure of 5.
Okay.
5% of people in this country, they have thalassemia minor.
Okay.
Or you can say they are thalassemia carriers.
Right.
And then every year, there are about 5,000 new children with thalassemia major. They're born with it. And at one time, we probably have something like 50,000 patients of thalassemia major in this country.
Okay.
So this is about the prevalent situation.
And you're absolutely right. This was, in fact, last year, ladies and gentlemen, according to the latest statistics of 2018, around 50,000 people have been diagnosed with thalassemia, are living with actually thalassemia, diagnosed ones. We don't even know about the ones who have not yet been diagnosed, right?
I just wanted to add in here that with the population statistics, 5 to 6% having the thalassemia gene or being thalassemia carrier, with our total population now, the overall burden is about like 10 million of our people have this gene in them in Pakistan.
Oh, okay. So there are chances, of course, of developing it. Ma'am, you said it's a genetic disease.
Yes.
So are there like any chances of females developing it more than males? Is it gender-based?
No, I think you're remembering hemophilia, which
Yeah,
we
that's,
talked
I'm
about
relating
last
it,
year.
yes.
Yes, that is a disease which is carried by females, but
And
which is present
in
in the
men,
males.
yes.
Thalassemia is nothing like that.
Okay.
It is equally present in males or females. So
Okay.
it is an inherited blood disorder. That means that parents pass it to their offsprings.
Okay.
And you need to have 2 genes for it to develop the disease.
Okay.
The patients, when we are saying carriers or thalassemia minor, just means they have 1 gene.
Okay, okay. And when you have both of them, that is like a severe case of thalassemia.
Yes, that is a severe case. With 1 gene, the people are actually completely normal. And it's only in some cases when carriers are married to a carriers, they have a child with thalassemia, and only then they find out that we were carriers, and then when they test, it's actually proved that way.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, sometimes in some cases, in females especially, when they have a blood test done, simple blood test, they can appear like having iron deficiency anemia.
Okay.
And then they keep on getting treated for iron deficiency anemia and don't improve. And then somebody then thinks, oh, this might be something else. And then their carrier status is detected.
Because I'll tell you, ma'am, actually hope is such a beautiful thing, right? I mean, I feel like every individual right there is living by hope. I mean, if there's anything wrong with you, any sort of probably a disease or even a disorder, because a lot of less fortunate people live out there, right? In probably less deteriorating conditions as well. Hope is something that we look forward to. Maybe tomorrow is going to be even better, and that is for all the people living with this condition as well. Before we move on to diagnosis and prevention of this with Dr. Saab, I want to move on to Saira over here. Saira, you can answer this however you want. Do you feel, first of all, again, thanks for coming. Do you feel like your condition probably stops you or limits you from doing things? As it would, like, अगर वो मुझे मेरी ज़िंदगी शायद आपसे फ़र्क हो और आपकी इस कंडीशन के साथ रहने से शायद ज़िंदगी फ़र्क है?
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता.
नहीं, कोई मतलब किसी डेली काम में कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं आती?
थोड़ा स्टडी में हुआ था थोड़ा, क्योंकि फिर मेरे लिए वो कॉलेज जाना थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम था, क्योंकि ब्लड ख़त्म हो जाता है बॉडी में, जब थोड़ा हीमोग्लोबिन कम हो तो थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होता है. लेकिन मेरे पेरेंट्स ने कम होने ही नहीं दिया, वो मेंटेन रखते थे.
Oh, okay, that's great. So Saira over here says that there is no like a large difference as compared to, you know, the people living with this sort of disease or disorder, let's say. But she says she has the support of her parents and her family. There are times when probably her hemoglobin level falls low than it usually should be, which is why she couldn't go to her classes. But she's doing absolutely great. This is brilliant. But coming to you, Dr. Saab, how can we diagnose this? How can we prevent this? And do we, by the way, have the facilities of prevention and diagnosis in Pakistan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a diagnosis of thalassemia major, you start with the patient itself. Generally, the child born is normal at birth, appears to be perfectly normal.
Right.
And parents usually notice that after 3 to 6 months, the child starts becoming pale, and the child is more irritable, and they might have diarrheas, and the tummy might be a little protuberant. So when they feel symptoms like this, they generally visit a physician, and who then orders some tests. And in the lab tests, you can actually tell that hemoglobin is low, the patient is anemic, and this is a very specific type of anemia, which is hyperchromic and microcytic anemia. And then you proceed on to the most specific investigations like hemoglobin electrophoresis, which of course, is available in the labs, but not everywhere.
Okay.
It's available only at specific places in the country.
Okay.
And we need to have more labs which can actually extend facilities.
And for that, we will come to you, Dr. Tahira, because
yeah.
you need to speak on behalf of the public sector. But before that, Dr. Saab, what do we have over here? Please explain this to us.
Well, this is something which is my sort of my hobby. It's my hobby. Well, I'm less of a doctor and more of an engineer.
Okay,
I, in fact, wanted to be an engineer, but my mother said that you have to be a doctor.
But that is like totally 180 degrees.
well, these are small little gadgets which I have developed over years. And it's a very simple device.
Okay.
And this very tiny looking rack, it contains 3 tubes. And then there is one tube reagent, which we put into each of these tubes. And when we take the sample from the patient and we add that sample into each of the tubes, in about 5 minutes we can get a result from this. And this is an initial screening test for thalassemia carriers. And this can tell you that the person who's being tested, whether he has thalassemia or he doesn't have it.
In 5 minutes, you said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It is not a confirmatory test, it's a screening test. It can tell you with almost 97% certainty that the person doesn't have thalassemia trait. So this is almost a revolutionary test. It has been in practice, but we have redefined it and modified it and improved it. And now it has started to give reproducible results. And the ones which are positive over here, then we take on to further investigation for those individuals. And
but
for this is there is another instrument. Yeah. This is a hemoglobin electrophoresis equipment.
Right.
In which we actually take the blood sample, we process it, and with the help of an applicator, we apply the samples over here, and ultimately that is transferred to this tiny little
dish
or electrophoresis tank, and then this is a very tiny power supply which looks like a mobile charger.
Yeah,
but it's not a mobile charger. It has been modified to that extent that it can actually perform the electrophoresis. It produces about 300 volts of electricity. And in about 30 minutes you can get a result. And it would tell you whether, if you're looking for, let's say, diagnosis of thalassemia major, this would tell you whether this is thalassemia major or not. And if you're trying to diagnose thalassemia minor, then this can tell you that is it thalassemia minor or not. The beauty is that this has been produced locally. We used to import the equipment like this. And now we are in a position to distribute this sample,
Why not? I mean,
instrument to various centers in this country.
This is so revolutionary.
You would be amazed to know that Sohaib actually in his lab he has got a little workshop where he's hiding most of the time and developing things like this.
Wow, this is absolutely beautiful.
And the results that we get from here ultimately are transferred to computer software which can actually tell you precisely whether it is a thalassemia minor or not.
Otherwise, these instruments are so expensive.
That is what I was
and the test costs so much. But with these devices, which Sohaib has actually developed, everything, how much would that cost?
The cost of the instrument is a little, maybe about 20 to 30,000 rupees. But, this test, the screening test, this would cost you less than maybe about 10 rupees.
Wow.
Which is almost nothing.
Just to get
nothing.
screened.
And this combination of these two things, they can create a revolution, I can tell you.
This is so revolutionary already.
If we distribute it down to the smallest of the laboratories, you can actually bring about a revolution. Now, the actual challenging part is that we have developed the equipment. We need to take it to the
to the smaller, to the less fortunate ones.
Yes,
absolutely. Now, I'll move on to Saira over here. Saira, कभी ऐसा था कि आपको ऑफ कोर्स रेगुलर ट्रीटमेंट चाहिए, लेकिन बर्डन पैसों का इतना ज़्यादा हो जाता है कि फैमिली के लिए भी मसला हो गया हो, क्योंकि टेस्ट्स इतने महंगे हैं फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, फिर जितनी भी आपको मेडिसिन चाहिए वो इतनी महंगी हैं, तो कभी आपको ऐसी स्ट्रगल्स थी?
था, थोड़ा बहुत तो था शुरू में, लेकिन फिर थैलेसीमिया सेंटर में तो सब कुछ फ्री है, तो ब्लड वगैरह मिल जाता है.
Okay, perfect. So Saira over here says that, of course, I mean, like every other person out there, there are sometimes definitely, money restraints. But then again, Thalassemia Center is there to help all of you, for which we are moving on to Dr. Tahira over here.
I just want to mention about Saira. She's not only brave that she has come here, she's actually done her master's in Islamic studies.
MashaAllah,
and
beautiful.
She's now doing her BA education and wants to continue as a teacher,
as
really.
A teacher? Wow.
So she has done tremendously good, and that's mainly because she became aware of the presence of a thalassemia center.
Right, timely.
And she got her regular transfusions, which are part of the treatment, and that's why she's actually developed so well.
Perfect. And good luck, Saira. And you know, when inshallah you are a teacher, you should come back to my show. But Dr. Tahira, I want you to talk about this. You know, when I was telling that around 50,000 of people last year had, you know, a thalassemia, they said that the treatment or any sort of assistance that they got were from either NGOs or any sort of, you know, private sectors or private help. What are the facilities that we have on a public level?
I mean, I'm not a public sort of spokesperson,
but you do have it.
But I have the knowledge because I've worked in government hospitals where there are facilities, and I actually started one of the thalassemia centers in Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences, which is actually going on. The thing is that blood is available in most government hospitals, and a lot of government hospitals in big cities at least have facilities to get the thalassemia patients, give them transfusions. But the important thing is that once these patients get blood has got a lot of iron in it. And that iron gets deposited in the body. And in very important organs like heart, for example, or other glands, liver, bones, etc., and can cause most of the complications and the fatalities in cases of thalassemia are because of iron overload in the heart. They actually have heart failures and things. So to get rid of this iron which is in the body, we need various iron chelators or iron removing drugs. Those are expensive, and the facilities for those drugs are not adequate in most government hospitals. But recently the government has taken up an initiative both on the preventive side and also on the treatment side. And Pakistan Baitul Mal is playing a very important role in this, and they are giving these iron chelators to the patients, and
which are generally like super expensive to afford for one's own self on a regular basis.
In cases of these patients, I think the families are desperate, and they really have to be sort of quite rich to afford the treatment, because it goes on for life. It's not a one-day treatment or a one-week treatment.
That's absolutely true. Thank you so much for saying that. But since we shortened time towards the very end, Dr. Sawa, I want you to sort of convince and tell everyone out there how important it is for them to have a regular blood picture checkup, right? I mean, everyone needs to know their condition, right? Please go ahead. And also to everyone out there living with thalassemia every day, your message of encouragement to them. Here's your camera. Please go ahead.
Well, the importance of blood testing, I think, of course, it's important on a regular basis. It should be tested. Well, more than that, I think since we're talking regarding thalassemia, I would like to particularly give a message to the affected families that we can diagnose this disease in pregnancy as well. So that's a very other important aspect of prevention of thalassemia. The people who already have children with thalassemia major, they generally come to us, and we introduced this test in 1994, and myself and Dr. Yasmin Rashid, we were colleagues, and we started doing this, and she was able to take the sample from the...
He was actually the first person who did the introduced prenatal diagnosis.
And once we take the sample from the mother, we can actually do the DNA testing on that, and we can give a result which is nearly 99.9% accurate. And the parents have the choice to
either carry on with the pregnancy
or get whatever. So it's ultimately the parents' choice. So I think through your channel, I would particularly like to give a message to the families that this is a very, very important aspect of prevention. The one that I talked about is carrier screening, which is before marriage. If people they get convinced, they should get tested before marriage. But once they are married, then the solution is also there. They can get tested during pregnancy. And this test has to be done in every pregnancy. This test is widely available in Pakistan. I think there are facilities available in Rawalpindi, in Lahore as well, and then in Karachi. But we need to also disseminate these sort of services as well.
Definitely.
This is a very important point which Sohaib has actually talked about, because a number of people who are actually married, they thought that it's the end of the world, but it's not the end of the world. If they get tested, then they make a decision.
Better decisions,
but in cases who are not actually married, but they have patients with thalassemia in their family, like for example, I give you the example of Saira. Once it was known that she had thalassemia, she was counseled, and the family was told that get her siblings and other members of your family tested. And in her family, her elder brother and sister were actually carrier. So at the time of marriage, they actually got the other cousins tested to see whether they were carriers or not. So they got married to normal, and then it means that they're
less chances of...
No chance of having a thalassemia major. They can be carrier, but not patients of thalassemia major.
Okay, thank you so much for that kind of information, and thank you so much for joining us, especially early in the morning, especially when we're fasting as well. Saira, thank you for being here. Dr. Sohaib Ahmed, Dr. Tahira, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, today was World Thalassemia Day. We definitely tried to inform you as much as we could on, well, just a limited time that we have. I really hope you learned something from us. If you did, you have to write to us on our Facebook page. And before that, since it is the month of Ramadan, a lot of you are getting together, you know, to pray and even recite Quran and share everything good that you have. Please remember me and my team in your prayers every single day. Write to us on our Facebook page with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, World This Morning without a G. Daily Motion and YouTube, also World This Morning. And the repeat you can catch at 11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, take care. Good morning.
Hello, you're watching PTV World News and I'm Waleed bin Shahid with the top stories of the hour. QUETTA Gladiators become new Pakistan Super League champion, beating Peshawar ZALMI by 8 wickets in the final at National Stadium Karachi to secure their maiden title. PTV Sports telecast the entire PSL full live. The star-studded, colourful closing ceremony of the Pakistan Super League 2019 enthralls the spectators at National Stadium Karachi.